Hello, and welcome to another session of the Health Innovators. I am so excited to be sitting across from Dr. Sakina Bajowala. And I am so sorry if I mispronounce that. I would love to have you introduce yourself and pronounce your name for us so that we
Sure.
know how to get it right.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. My name is Sakina Bajowala, and I'm a board certified allergist and immunologist.
Fabulous. And actually, I already know everything about Dr. Bajowala because I already have her information in front of me. But let's start really fast with your training. Can you tell us a little bit about your training background?
Sure. After medical school at Rush Medical College, I did my pediatrics residency at the University of Chicago. And then I went back to Rush for my fellowship in adult and pediatric allergy and immunology. Since then, I've been in private practice.
Fabulous. And then let's jump right in to your health innovation, which I already gave a little sneak peek on, the food allergy fix. So we would love to hear about your innovation before we dive into who you are more as a human.
Sure. So, part of what I do in my practice is food allergen desensitization, which is a process of desensitizing an individual to food allergen proteins by reintroducing the allergen into the body in tiny, tiny doses and incrementally increasing the dose over an extended period of time. It's an immunomodulatory treatment that is essentially designed to retrain the immune system to start tolerating these proteins and make the patient less likely to experience a severe allergic reaction in the event of accidental exposure. Um, there are Initially, there were just a handful of board certified allergists performing this procedure. And over time, the interest in this procedure has grown exponentially, and we now have even an FDA approved oral immunotherapy for peanut on the market. However, it is an extremely labor intense procedure on the part of both the clinicians and the families and patients that are pursuing it. Because after all, you're taking something you're allergic to and you're putting it back into your body every day. There always exists the risk of experiencing an allergic reaction to the treatment itself. And so there are a lot of safety rules involved in optimizing the safety of the treatment to minimize those risks. Keeping track of all of these rules can be very difficult, and optimizing the safety of the treatment can be difficult if you don't have constant communication with your clinicians. So, our innovation was coming up with a digital dosing record and safety optimization tool for oral immunotherapy that could be run on your mobile device via an app and would be linked to a web portal on the clinician or allergist side, so that we had constant communication and a way to ensure that patients weren't dosing when they shouldn't be dosing, that their doses were modified appropriately, and that in the event of a reaction, that they would take the appropriate treatment as soon as possible without having to wait to call the office, get a call back, and then start their treatment. And then on top of that, we are planning to capture all this data from multiple patients and multiple practices over time, so we can eventually institute machine learning and artificial intelligence to optimize further the safety of these therapies.
That's fabulous. So it's in one hand, holding the hands of patients might be scared to desensitize on their own, even though now it's an option.
Right. And, to be clear, the patient's never really desensitizing on their own, because every time there is a dose increase, that needs to be done under medical supervision. And it's only once a dose is established as safe for that patient that they can go on and dose with that same dose again in the home setting. So this mobile tool and web tool are designed to facilitate the proper dosing in the home setting when they're not under our direct eyes.
That's fabulous. Wow. What a forward thinking thing to think of, to promote the safety of our health as we try to get healthier.
Right.
That's really great. All right, let's now that we know a bit about your innovation, and as you might know if you're watching this, we have everyone's health innovation in this series covered on SoMeDocs.com. Just find the series section and find the Health Innovator series. And there's a lot more written there, including links to each of our health innovators. Let's shift gears a little bit to who you are, because I think that's truly fascinating, is not only your innovation, but who are you and what inspired you to create something so innovative. So tell us a little bit about the you that's behind the white coat.
I'm first and foremost a mom of 2 kids, both of who used to experience allergic reactions to foods. My eldest was allergic to peanut, cashew, and pistachio as a toddler. And, it was just our good luck that he happened to outgrow these allergies on his own by around 4.5 years of age. And that's not typical. I will say that the way our lives changed after that, from being a food allergy family to then having all this food freedom, was transformative. And so I think for me, that was a big inspiration behind kind of being an outside of the box thinker and not waiting to be told that I could do something before I decided to do it. That's always kind of been my personality. I like to set the rules and the protocols, and that's why I'm in private independent practice, and it works great for me, and I think it works great for my patients as well. But because that's always kind of been my clinical philosophy, the decision to kind of forge ahead and go into oral immunotherapy made a lot of sense for me. So that's how I am in all areas of my life. So I guess, I know you're a creative, and I'm also a creative in my own way. And I enjoy writing. So I decided, well, gosh, I love teaching patients, but I'm just saying the same things over and over
Yes.
again. I'm a broken record. So maybe if I write it all down. So I wrote it all down, and then we decided, well, wouldn't it be nice if this was in a visual medium? So then we made a video library, and it just has snowballed from there. So I really love being able to incorporate kind of the education and the writing and the media creation with what I do in clinical practice, and it keeps it fresh for me.
Yeah.
And I think it keeps me interested in what I do. So
Beautiful.
that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, fabulous. Now, along those lines, run us through a typical day in your life.
Lately, a typical day has been very regimented. As we've been developing the application, the day starts early, around 6 a.m. And I always start with some tea because otherwise I simply can't wake up. I like to carve out a little bit of time for myself in the morning while I'm making breakfast for what was previously our remote learners, but now luckily school is over. And I like to listen to the news in the morning while I'm doing that. But, within the next half hour to 1 hour, the meetings start. So before I start clinic, I'll usually have meetings with our overseas development team and other contractors that we might have working on the app. And then depending on the day of the week, I'll have clinic, which is luckily close to my home. So I'll start there anywhere from 8 to 9 a.m. And I don't work full time. I work 4 days a week, which gives me a day off on Wednesday. Once the clinic day is over, it's back to conference calls for either professional societies or social media management, and try to carve out some time for catching up with my kids and husband. And then I really do try to work out regularly. And so, if I'm walking, I'll get on the phone with my friends while I'm doing it and try to multitask there. But otherwise, we'll do some other form of exercise and then start making dinner. And, by the time dinner is over, I really want to unwind a little bit. So watching a little TV with my husband, catching up on emails, finishing some charting, and then always carving out a little bit of time to do at least a little more work on the app or the website or additional development. Hopefully by 11:30, I can catch some Z's.
Fabulous. Wow, what a busy day. Let's move on to an interaction you've had in life that has helped shape your current innovative venture.
Hmm. I would say, the major interactions that have shaped this has been with my patients. You know, the it's the inspiration that they give me when I see how devoted they are to doing this therapy and how committed they are to doing something that's actually really difficult. These are not adults that are doing this therapy, right? The vast majority of my patients are young children. And we're asking them to be incredibly resilient. We're saying, here is something that we've always told you is poison, but please come here and we'll feed it to you every day. And not only that, we'll increase the dose every week or 2 weeks. And don't worry, you'll be fine. Right. And so we're asking a lot of these kids. So I've been incredibly inspired by my interactions with them, as seeing how devoted they are to really overcoming their allergy. It's not the same for everyone. Those that feel more caged in by their food allergy, those that feel that their quality of life has been more impacted by their food allergy, are definitely more motivated to kind of do this. And their families are equally motivated. They're very, very inspirational. But I would say those are the interactions I've seen, that when I have a family or a child in front of me that is willing to do literally whatever it takes to be safer walking through life, that was the inspiration for us to say, listen, we've got to make something to make their lives just a little bit easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, can you share with us a really interesting part of your life if you can think of one?
Oh boy. Well, it's interesting to me, although my kids think it ages me considerably. I really like to garden. And so, that's something that gives me balance. I find it interesting. I try every morning before I start my day, while I'm drinking my tea and doing the morning things, to go outside and walk the yard and look around. And I try to see what new plants have bloomed today. And, for me, it may not be interesting to other people, but it's interesting to me, and it keeps me kind of alive and interested in what's going on in the world. So, just this morning, I found two new plants blooming that I didn't even know I ever planted.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yeah, everybody sort of has their own hobbies, and that's okay because it helps us to unwind. And clearly, you're so busy that that's something that is important for getting some downtime. All right. You already mentioned it earlier in our interview that you wake up to tea. So are you team coffee or are you team tea?
I'm team tea, 100%. I actually don't even like the smell of coffee. My husband, my son drink coffee, and I prepare it and then I run away. I've loved tea since I was young. Could be partially cultural. In the morning when I can make it for myself, I make my traditional Indian chai. Unfortunately, in my old age, I have become lactose intolerant.
Wow.
So it has required a little bit of modification.
Well, can you substitute like oat milk for milk in your
Yeah,
chai?
you can. I do a combination of almond and coconut milk in mine, and I think it's good. I put all the what we call masala in there, which
Yeah.
makes it spicy. So the cinnamon, the cloves, and the nutmeg, and I think that makes it delicious and a great way to start the day. But it's not very practical to do when I'm out and about. So kind of like Beyonce keeps hot sauce in her bag, I keep herbal tea bags in my bag.
That's awesome. Right.
And I walk around with them wherever I go because
Yeah.
I'm a tea snob and I don't necessarily like the tea that I can get at a restaurant.
That's so funny because I did that once also when I had like I love tea. I just had a tea phase where I needed like a certain type and I would have it in my bag too. It's very easy. You just ask for boiling cup of water.
Right. I like tea so much that I put a recipe for a digestive tea in my book that was designed for patients who are experiencing any GI symptoms associated with their dosing. So it's just a combination of mint, bishop's weed, and carom seed in hot water, and it does the trick. So any kind of tea, I'm game.
Fabulous. So, on a personal level, is there a resource that you would recommend to everybody that's watching? It doesn't necessarily have to be about your innovation, it could be a personal resource that you enjoy growth from.
Does it have to be allergy related?
No, it could be
Okay.
just personal, you love it.
I really like Glennon Doyle's new podcast, the We Can Do Hard Things podcast, and I've been loving that. It's like a little therapy session every time I listen to it, and it's brand new, but I think it's fantastic. And so that's always been nice, once a week, just listening to that. I think
What
it's a
did she
nice
talk about? That's so interesting.
He talks about boundaries and being honest with yourself and how to deal with the anxiety of walking through the world and the uncertainty of life as we know it, even kind of pre-COVID. So kind of all those universal things that many of us are dealing with, actually all of us are dealing with, but most of the time it's not something we talk about. And so I find that very refreshing.
Fabulous. That's great. Thank you for that. Before we're approaching the end. Can you share with us your pitfalls and weaknesses? Not because we want to highlight that you're weak, because clearly you aren't, but because we all want to learn from some of the lessons that you may have learned.
Yeah. So, and I thought about this because you had asked me this before, but I will say that one of the things I've learned throughout this whole process of building a product that actually needs to be brought to market is I'm great with the visionary stuff and I'm good with the nuts and bolts. But then once the product is there and it's time to go talk it up and sell it, that's something I never really learned to do. And I'm still, as a physician, we've always been taught that self-promotion is somehow unethical, that marketing is bad, that advertising is bad, that you should build it and they will come. But that's not the truth. You can't just build it and they will come. There's too many things being built for everybody to go to everything. And I had to really learn to get comfortable talking about what I've built and talking about why I love it. That's part of why I'm talking to you today. But that is something that's ongoing. And, I was talking to my husband about it the other day. He said, honey, if you're going to build this thing, you're going to put your heart and soul into it. And then you're going to chicken out when it's time to pick up the phone and call someone and ask them to give you a chance. You're going to end up regretting it. So
Absolutely.
I think I need to take that lesson to heart and just, be okay hearing the no.
Awesome. That really resonates, I think, not just with me, but probably with the people listening. So thank you for that. All right. We are at the end. Let us know what your ask is, what people that are listening to this could do to help to support you.
Oh, gosh, I would appreciate anyone's support. I think the biggest thing that could be done to support what I'm trying to do here is to spread awareness about the fact that if you are living with life-threatening food allergies, your only option isn't just to avoid the allergen for the rest of your life. There are treatment options, and they're safe and effective, and they're improving all the time. So I would say that the main thing people could do is refer either to my social media accounts on Instagram, or read my book, which is The Food Allergy Fix, or share it with a friend who could benefit from it. And if it resonates, and you want to pursue some form of desensitization, then consider using the app and telling a friend or even your doctor about it.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so, so much. And to those of you that are watching that want to see where you can find more information on the Food Allergy Fix or on Dr. Bajowala, check out SoMeDocs.com, our series section, and then the Health Innovator series, because that is where you will find all of our innovators and the links and about some of their work. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us and for being included in this series.
It was my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely.